Matt Langhorst, Public Works Director for the City of Glenwood Springs. We're here at the beautiful No Name intake where our main water supply is gathered and brought to the city. The project we've been working on for basically the last 6 months up in this location and Grizzly Creek is armoring up the intakes. We expect to potentially see some debris flows in the future from the burn scar. So what we've done at these locations is add steel armoring, add deflection walls through large concrete blocks. We've opened up the channels a little bit and added bank armoring on the channels so that any debris flows that do come down, we have the best chance of our intakes surviving those events. Thanks to this project, we are better equipped to handle debris flows coming down the channels with all of the armoring on the intakes, the additional space within the channels themselves, being able to take some mud flow and not clog the channels up, in conjunction with all of the other projects we're doing within the city, within the No Name tunnel, at the water plant, additional redundant pipe systems that are going to be starting to be built this year and are already completed at this point. So the city should be able to handle much higher levels of sediment within the water systems, carbon, organics, heavy metals. So the water system and the water that the residents of the city of Glenwood Springs will have will be just as good as it used to be.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Bennet. Last summer, the combination of the pandemic and the Grizzly Creek fire presented Glenwood Springs and Garfield County with tremendous challenges. And through it all, you've worked together and persevered to come out stronger on the other side. I'd like to congratulate Mayor Jonathan Godis and all the staff of the city of Glenwood Springs on the successful completion of this emergency watershed protection project. Stabilizing the water intake infrastructure at Grizzly Creek and No Name is integral for protecting access to clean water for the community of Glenwood Springs. We're grateful for your leadership on the ground and your collaboration with state and federal partners, including CDOT, Division of Homeland Security Emergency Management, USDA, and NRCS. We need to make sure we continue to invest in critical infrastructure to mitigate and prevent future crises. That's why I recently reintroduced the Match Act with Senator Mitt Romney, a Republican from Utah. The bill requires USDA to credit landowners for time-critical mitigation efforts to help expedite disaster cleanup and prevent future disasters. I will work with my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to get the Match Act across the finish line. Congratulations again on the successful completion of this great project. I look forward to being with all of you again soon.
Hi, Senator Hickenlooper here. I want to congratulate the city of Glenwood Springs on the completion of the Emergency Watershed Protection Project. We were all struck by the damage of the Grizzly Creek fire last year, and this is such an important milestone in the rebuilding process. I know how vulnerable this region is to future disasters and how important it is to address deficiencies in emergency access and evacuation routes for Coloradans in the Roaring Fork Valley. Unfortunately, due to a changing climate, we're only expecting to see an increase in the frequency and intensity of wildfires here in Colorado. Senator Bennet and I were glad to sign a letter in support of the city's effort to secure a federal grant for the South Bridge project that is so important to protecting our friends and neighbors who call Glenwood Springs home. Again, congratulations on wrapping up the Emergency Watershed Protection Project. I look forward to continuing to support your efforts and to drive policies that protect our communities and make our communities more resilient. Keep up the good work. I'm with you in Glenwood Springs.
My name is Stephen Jowen. I am the District Conservationist for the Natural Resources Conservation Service here in Glenwood Springs. My agency is responsible for the Emergency Watershed Protection Plan, and we'd like to thank, first of all, the City of Glenwood Springs who stood up and stepped up to take sponsorship of the projects within this area, specifically the No Name Creek and the Grizzly Creek water intakes for the City of Glenwood Springs. They've been a great partner for us. They've helped us get on the ball and get moving as quickly as possible. The NRCS provides funds for these types of projects to help protect these values at risk. These specific values are very important for the City of Glenwood Springs as their intakes, and the city stepped up right away to sponsor these projects.
I'd like to also just thank everybody in NRCS that works on the EWP project, especially Todd Bolt, the EWP coordinator, and our state engineer. In a fire season that we had like last year, it stretches us pretty thin, and so the partnership between our sponsorships, our sponsors, and the private industry like SGM taking on the engineering and Gould Construction taking on the construction, and working together, it really helps us move that ball forward to protect these values at risk. I'd also like to thank our congressmen, representatives, congresswomen for keeping EWP funded. I know throughout the state we're still needing funds for EWP to protect some other communities, and so we like to thank them for really stepping up and requesting those funds at the national level. This type of partnership is very unique, and it takes time and energy from all of us to keep that ball moving. I'd really like to thank again the City of Glenwood Springs for stepping up and doing that and managing these projects.
Hi, my name is Deb Figueredo. I am the City Manager for Glenwood Springs. I'm happy today to let our community know that their watershed and their water has been protected from the Grizzly Creek fire due to the efforts of NRCS staff, Gould Construction, Matt, our Public Works Director, and his team, and everyone who helped protect it in the original fire. I cannot thank everyone enough for pulling together the way we did. And I also cannot thank NRCS staff enough. During the Grizzly Creek fire, they came to City Hall. They explained to us how we could move forward. Those were some of the worst weeks in city staff and our community's lives dealing with COVID and the Grizzly Creek fire. And they explained to us how we could move forward, and we did in record time thanks to Matt and everyone else pulling together. I'm very happy to thank everyone once again and to tell our community our watershed is safe going into the future.
Okay, so I've been asked to lead us in a toast, and it feels wrong toasting with water, but at the same time it is so right. So I just want everybody to raise their glass of clear, clean, amazing water brought to you by everybody here and their agencies, to Glenwood and to Glenwood's water.
Yeah.